Hi guys, this is Ranjit and this is going to be a different kind of a video on Samsung mid-range smartphones. And I've been thinking about making this video for quite some time, been actually making notes about that for last couple of months. So I have made a lot of notes that I'll talk about it. And this is about expectations versus the reality of mid-range smartphone by Samsung specifically for India. And these sort of videos some people don't like and some brands ban and stuff, but I thought I should make this video because this is not just my voice, this is consumers' voice. And I hope the brand takes this as constructive criticism. And I'll divide this video in various parameters. For example, the expectations that general users have from Samsung, but what is the reality and how the Samsung prices their mid-range smartphone to get to a certain price point. Things that I would like to see improve in Samsung mid-range smartphones. Things that Samsung is now actually doing a lot better compared to what they were doing a couple of years ago. And why still a lot of users in India are buying the Samsung mid-range smartphone. And finally the conclusion. So I'll add the timestamps, but again, to get an overview or holistic idea what I'm talking, you have to watch the entire video, otherwise you would just don't get the point of view. But okay, so let's have a look at it, and I'll look at my computer because I don't want to skip the points. Okay, the first thing is expectations that most of the users have from Samsung mid-range smartphones. We want excellent spec smartphones that are mid-range smartphones from Samsung, and they should be priced very aggressively like some of the Xiaomi and the Realme smartphones. And the sad reality, that simply is not happening. So this is the expectation, but that is not happening. I would also love to see that very high spec mid-range smartphones from Samsung that are priced close to Realme and stuff. So that's the expectation that most of the users have. But the reality is very, very different. And Samsung knows that, and it's all about the Samsung brand value. And I'm going to specifically talk about mid-range smartphones specifically for India. So that's the M series, F series and the A series. You know, the M and the F series are online centric, so they're a little bit aggressive in pricing. But even if we talk about the M and F series, if you look at them, there is still a Samsung premium that you pay. That is approximately about 15 to 20% extra compared to similar phones that might be from Xiaomi or Realme. That's a simple fact. And you're paying that premium 15 to 20% for that Samsung brand value, and Samsung knows that. And in fact, this premium increase a little bit more for the non-online centric. For example, if you know, the M series is the online one for Amazon, and the F series is for Flipkart. So these are slightly aggressively priced, but still about 15 to 20% more than comparable smartphones from Realme or Xiaomi. But when we talk about the A series smartphones, these are actually generally catered towards the offline market, and here the Samsung premium margins that you will be paying will be a lot higher. It can be anywhere about 20 to 25% more compared to comparable smartphones from Realme and Xiaomi. And this is a simple fact, guys. Samsung will not price their phones very close to Realme or Xiaomi, because they are getting sales and they know that Samsung brand value people are ready to pay. So that's a simple fact. So if you're expecting that Samsung will release a mid-range smartphone with certain specs that will be priced closer to Realme and Xiaomi, that is simply not going to happen. I would love to see that, but I don't think so. If we talk about realistic expectations, that's not going to happen. Okay, and why people will say that the A series phones are significantly more expensive than even the M series. As I've told you, the A series is mostly a offline centric smartphone. So here the brand, any brand has to pay higher commissions to distributors and the retail seller shopkeepers. So the price of the smartphone, this extra cost, can be as high as to 6 to 9% is extra, and brand will not pay that from their own pocket. So they add that costing to the offline centric smartphone, and A series are actually offline centric smartphone mostly for Samsung. Yes, they do sell it online also, but it's mostly targeted towards the offline. They do things a little bit different. Some of the A series phones will look slightly better compared to the M series in looks and stuff, but yes, the pricing will be different. Okay, now let's talk about how does Samsung get to this mid-range pricing. And Samsung knows that in India, you have to get the pricing right. If you don't get that, people will not buy it. So we have seen a lot of smartphones from Samsung ranging from 12,000, 14, 15, 18,000. Samsung knows that, yes, they will be charging that 15 to 20% premium or still, but they have to price the phone lower. And to do that, they have to actually do some cost cutting. So how do they do that? For example, first, generally Samsung, what they do in the mid-range smartphones is they generally use lower spec processor. For example, Samsung mid-range phones were famous for the Exynos 9611. For years and years they were using. Just recently this year they started moving to the MediaTek chipset. But many of the phones, I was saddened and I tweeted about it also, they came with the G80 or the G85, which is a very low spec processor. I'm happy to see some of the new Samsung smartphones coming with finally with the Dimensity SoCs. They are a lot better, and even Snapdragon 750 and 732. But again, all these are priced significantly higher. So this is one big area where Samsung saves cost is in terms of processor. In processor, they will use a lower processor or an older processor. Here, they do a lot of saving. And further, and I don't get this, Samsung again in the mid-range is now on many of their smartphones not using an AMOLED screen, but they are going with a LCD screen. Sometimes even not a full HD plus, but a 720p screen. And here they are doing that cost cutting and saving the cost. And I simply don't get this, why this just baffles me, because Samsung is one of the biggest manufacturers of AMOLED screens for smartphones. And if Samsung starts putting AMOLED screens in their mid-range smartphones, let's say about 12 or 14,000, they'll have a big edge. But I don't know why Samsung is still using a lot of LCD screens on their mid-range smartphones. So this is one more area where they're doing the cost cutting. The AMOLED screens, yes, certainly do cost a lot more, but again, Samsung is the one who's manufacturing most of them, so they can get the costing right, but I don't know why they do it. Third thing they do is that if you've seen most of the Samsung smartphones now, most of them come with a 15-watt charger, and they call it a fast charger, which is a joke. So again, they are not bundling those fast chargers. For example, other brands in this price range are giving 25, 30, some even a 50-watt charger, but Samsung still gives just a 15-watt charger. So here also, they're doing that cost cutting. And this is another sad thing that Samsung is doing in some of their smartphones. And I also was confused about this. In some of the smartphones, they are not using UFS type storage, which is faster, but using the older eMCC storage. And guys, if you have watched my unboxing video of the Galaxy A22, in the spec sheet, it was not written what kind of storage it had. And I just assumed because it's using the Dimensity 700 SoC, has 11 bands of 5G, it will have UFS storage. But only later on I came to know it is using the eMCC storage. So this is also one more area where Samsung is doing that cost cutting. And I've seen this in the next point, that is in Samsung smartphones, is that there is a tug of war between these two things. What they will do is, if they give a very good processor in a particular smartphone in the mid-range, they will do the cost cutting on the display. Or if they do give a very good display like a Super AMOLED with full HD plus, etc., then the processor will take a hit. So it's always a tug of war that is going on. So this is how Samsung is able to price their mid-range smartphones. These are the things they do to get to that certain price point. Okay, now moving to some of the things that I feel should change on Samsung mid-range smartphone. These are just my wishes. Let's see if it happens. First thing is, stop providing 15-watt chargers and labeling it as fast charger. It's not a fast charger. And they should seriously now move to real fast charger. It's high time now. Next thing, regarding display type, just start using AMOLED screens on every phone above a certain price point, let's say above 15,000. You guys can do it. You guys are manufacturing it. There'll be a big edge and at least people will know, oh, if it has a Samsung phone above a certain price point, you will get a Super AMOLED screen. And please give at least a full HD plus screen. Don't give those 720p screens now in 2021. And again, regarding the storage, as I've told you, eMCC storage, they should simply not give now in 2021. I also got tricked into this. The Galaxy A22 has eMCC storage, which I never expected. Also, now coming to this point, and this Samsung has started lately now in 2021, and I'm very, very annoyed with this one. They have started adding a lot of bloatware, hardware in their smartphones. In fact, the setup procedure has become so complicated. In fact, in one of the M series smartphones that I covered recently, a couple of months ago, I'll leave the link, I spent about 4 or 5 minutes just explaining to the users how to install, do the initial setups so that they don't enable adware and bloatware unnecessarily. So again, they should actually stop it. It's high time. And also, this is another sad trend that is now happening with Samsung mid-range smartphones on M series and A series is with OTA updates, they are also adding bloatware apps. This should actually stop in the mid-range smartphone. So see, these are some of the things I would like to see improvement or change on Samsung mid-range smartphones. Now, moving to some of the things that Samsung has been doing well compared to what they were doing last couple of years. And the first big thing is that now the One UI is definitely a lot better, a lot smoother and fluid to use, I would say, compared to earlier Samsung, UIs that we used to call TouchWiz or the LagWiz. One UI is way polished. So in that area, they have done a very good job. Also, in terms of update situation, I would say Samsung now is doing a lot better. In their mid-range smartphones, for example, even this A22, etc., they are promising 2 years of Android updates, that is 2 versions of Android updates, and 3 years of security updates. And in some of the premium end phones, premium mid-range and stuff, it's actually 3 years of Android updates and 4 years of security updates. So in this area, I would say they are actually doing a good job, and I hope they don't change this. Now let's come to the big $1 million question. Why are still people in India buying mid-range smartphones from Samsung? And this was very perplexing to me, but these are some of the points that I made, and that's why I feel people in India are still buying Samsung mid-range smartphones. Because if you look at price to performance, the Xiaomi's, the Realme's are just better in raw performance and price to performance ratio, but still a lot of people are buying Samsung mid-range smartphones. Why? Okay, I made some points, so let's look at it. Okay, the first thing that I've noticed is that many people are used to Samsung phones from years. So they like the UI that it is there. They are familiar with that UI, and the brand value, that Samsung brand value still does make a big difference, I would say, particularly for people who are above a certain age, that is 30, 35, they have a little bit of disposable income. They still prefer a Samsung smartphone. Second point is that I personally know many people who are just not comfortable using a Xiaomi or a Realme phone once they have attained something in their life. You are above 30 or 35, you have changed 2-3 jobs, you have a little bit of disposable income. They don't want to go with the Xiaomi or the Realme phones. These guys, apart from the raw core specs, for these guys, the brand value matters a lot. And here I would say they prefer Samsung, iPhones, or even the OnePlus devices. That's the raw fact, guys. Okay, now moving to the next thing is, and this is for the average Joe user, the brand value certainly matters more than the raw performance. And this is what, again, people who are watching this video, we are like tech enthusiasts, we know everything, but the average Joe does not care if it's the fastest processor. He just wants to know if the phone works normally in his daily usage. And I think so Samsung is able to capture a lot of market, because these users are not aware of the raw specs, but again, they are very conscious what type of brand they're using. So again, that brand image is playing a very important part. And also in generally, even in the mid-range, what do you say, smartphones from Samsung, what I've generally noticed is that the camera performance is pretty decent. So that is also something that many users like. It's not outstanding, I would say, but it's not rubbish also. So the camera performance is generally okay. Next thing, and I think so this is important for a huge country like India, is the service centers in small city. That also plays an important part for many users who are not living in big cities and towns. And here I think so Samsung still has an edge. So these are some of the reasons that I feel many users are still buying Samsung mid-range smartphones. Now to conclude, what do I feel about this? I'm just going to read it because I just wrote this. So let's say, so if you think Samsung will suddenly start competing with aggressively valued smartphones from the likes of Xiaomi or Realme, that is simply not going to happen. They will continue to charge that premium of 15 to 25% based on different models of smartphone. So if you are expecting a very high spec, aggressively priced mid-range smartphones from Samsung to compete with the likes of Xiaomi, Realme, etc., get ready to get disappointed, guys. This is a simple fact. But I just hope Samsung pays more attention to the processor, display used, and the storage type used on their mid-range smartphones, making it at least a decently competitive, and cut down on the bloatware that is being added now on their mid-range smartphones. I feel many users like you and me who are watching this video, who are sort of power or advanced users who know about processor, display, etc., might be okay paying that premium if Samsung does not skimp on the features that I have mentioned. Else, we might be mostly disappointed with the mid-range smartphones from Samsung when we compare it with value smartphone brands like Xiaomi or Realme. But I still feel general users will still continue to buy these mid-range smartphones because of the Samsung brand. So these were my raw thoughts about that, guys. And some of you have actually mentioned to me, I always say that Samsung premium in my mid-range smartphones videos. And why do I say mid-range phones as premium? I'm not saying mid-range phones as premium. You guys are getting it. The Samsung premium, what I mean to say is that the extra price that you have to pay for the Samsung brand, that is the Samsung premium, and that is the reality, guys. It can be anywhere from about 15 to 25%. Anyways, guys, that's it for now of this video. And guys, if you're still not subscribed to the YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. And I hope Samsung changes this. I know it just cannot change the next smartphone that they'll launch in 1 or 2 months. They cannot incorporate this because the smartphone cycle is almost 6 to 8 months. But hopefully in 2022, we see a lot more competitive smartphones from Samsung. But would love to know your thoughts about the same. Do let me know in the comment section below. Anyways, guys, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. This is Ranjit, and I hope to see you in my next video. Take care, guys.